day. Ain't nobody running through some and there's nobody running from smoke on this show. That being said, we do have a ton of comments, and we do have a interesting. We have a good bunch of topics that I want to talk about.
Okay.
Someone wants to come on and has a particular, hey, I want to get this off my chest. Of course, we'll let them on and we'll let them do that. Let's start with, I don't know. So Keyshawn NBA, please send your super chats and hit those likes up. Yo, Fluent, check your IG DMs. I want to be on the show. So when you guys have different names on IG and TikTok and here and there, I don't know who you are. So go on and tell me who you are. Go on and tell me who you are, and then I can send you the link. Handle 100. I don't know. See, so there's no handle 100. Send the link. Chill. No, that's my name. I don't know. So bring it. Until that time, I will send him the link if I can. That being said, Hailey, I'd like to introduce you to Jay. This is Chill / OG. He's got a bunch of names. Jay, I don't know if you know Hailey. This is
I don't.
Hailey.
I don't.
You probably haven't seen her in, I don't know.
It's been a couple of decades. What's up, Jay?
Hello, H Boogie. What up with you?
We back. It's been a while. What up? It's been a while. First off, it's good to see you both, as always. Hope you had a good Thanksgiving. Secondly, oh man, I mean, being part of Players' Choice is incredible. Although we don't get to have a lot of the other guys on, we'll definitely probably start doing that soon. Have some guests on. But those debates were fire. Those were crazy.
So who'd you have? Chill between Chill and Jay and Rufus.
I think Jay won. I'm probably biased towards both of you just because I already know your takes. I usually know what's oncoming. But that was a great debate. I learned a lot just watching it. As far as your Fluent and Dub, that was funny. That was entertaining. Extremely entertaining. Although the one I was most excited for was definitely Ticket to Mars.
Oh, well, you got to still. But who was the winner? Between me and question about it, but
it's really hard because I think Dub has good opinions. I think he knows what he's talking about sometimes, but sometimes he doesn't convey it very well. But I think he did really well in that debate. Like that was some of the best things I've heard him say. It depends. I can't even remember what the rounds were, but I think that one was pretty even. But you both did really well. I mean, it was more for the entertaining factor, I think.
Yeah, you're not going to be back on the show ever again. And then who'd you have? You said you're the one you look forward to was Ticket to Mars. Who'd you have?
Well, that one's hard to decide as well because Ticket will talk the entire time versus like Mars is pretty quiet. Like you have to pull, you have to kind of pull it out of him. But it was nice to hear. I don't think I've heard Mars ever talk for more than like 30 seconds, maybe like 10 seconds at a time. But you got to hear some knowledge. So yeah, I don't know. I can't pick sides. Can't do that. Don't want to make enemies tonight.
You already made one. Did you watch them all?
I didn't watch. I didn't get to see some of them.
Ron and Dell, you didn't see that.
I didn't get to see that one, although I heard that Ron might have run away with that one.
Yeah, Ron did a good job on that one. Did you see Low and OG?
I didn't. How was that one? That's an interesting matchup actually, because I feel like Low is very. I like Low's opinions, but sometimes he's unwavering. I feel like he's just very like this is how it is. But I feel like we think kind of similarly, and OG kind of just will throw out some crazy stuff sometimes. But no, I didn't get to watch that one yet. I definitely will.
All right.
Yeah. Anyways, so everybody in the chat, what is up? What is up? If you don't follow Players' Choice, definitely go follow. But yeah, we have some good stuff to get into. Are we going to start off with some messages, Fluent, Jay, or are we just
no. We've got some challenges coming through.
Okay.
this is not our show in terms of that's not what we do. So I'll bring on one or two. We'll see if I've sent the link to the first couple of people, but we'll get to those. No one's come on yet. As you can, I don't know if you can't see the backstage area. There's no one there waiting. Okay. So like I said, I know we got a bunch of topics. There's a bunch of stuff going on. We got Kanye West going crazy on InfoWars. You got Brown getting arrested. Yeah. But we got a list of topics. So let's go through, and we got to get to the big one because obviously everyone's seen the title of the show. So we got to get to that one eventually. So we got a lot. So Hailey, how do you like the new look? You haven't even been here since we've had the new look.
I know, revamp. Okay, I do like it. I noticed the logo change for Player's Choice. It's a vibe for sure. Yeah. We're up and coming. I love to see it. But yeah, as far as topics, before I head into it, I see 8 likes. You guys get those likes up, please. It helps us for sure and gets us out to more people. But yeah, so some of the topics, we're going to talk about some of the younger players that are either overpaid or underpaid. I want to get your opinions, not just based on like this season. It's still really early in the season, but kind of what we see in their future. Okay. Before we get into that topic, do you guys know how old Jordan Clarkson is?
Jordan Clarkson is I think he's close to 30.
Fluent? Any?
Let me do some. Let me see.
Yeah, I think
I'll say 32.
Really? Okay, he is 30, so you're both in the vicinity. I thought he was younger. I don't know why. I don't know why, but I was astonished when I saw that he was 30.
He's been in the league what, 8 years?
Yeah, but I mean he wasn't really that. Yeah. He wasn't really that guy until, maybe, I don't even know, three years ago. But anyways, so yeah, we'll jump into this. I'm going to read off a name of a player, tell you how much they get paid, and you tell me if they're overpaid or underpaid. Jay, we'll start with you. We're going to start off with my guy, Jordan Poole. Obviously, he has that $10 million 4-year contract. He gets about $3.9 million a season at 23 years old. Is he overpaid or underpaid?
Jordan Poole is in the same category with Tyler Hero, even though I think Tyler Hero is better than him, but Tyler Hero set the market when he ended up getting that contract extension as the best bench player in the game, because him and Jordan Poole are essentially on the same wavelength in terms of their ability to score off the bench, what they bring in terms of production. Everybody just looks at those guys and they don't look at the value. They look at them as players and they don't look at the value and what they bring to their units. And what Jordan Poole brings to that unit is way different than what Tyler Hero brings to his unit, because offensively, that Golden State Warriors team isn't as good as that Miami Heat team. So when you look at what Tyler Hero is doing coming off the bench last season, averaging 20 a game as the best bench player in the game, and you got a guy like Jordan Poole who's coming off the bench in addition to the firepower that they have, I don't think that he's overpaid, but I think that he was paid. I think that he was paid fairly.
Okay. So I'll say this one time, but it goes for every single answer I'm going to give. There's no such thing as overpaid. You are worth what someone will pay you.
You keep saying that, Tony. I need to understand that. I do need to understand.
Someone wants to give. Okay, AJ, I want you to come work for me. I'm going to give you $100 million.
Right.
They know I'm not worth that. Give me 10.
Well, but you got to come.
Your worth is what someone will pay for you. Is a baseball card worth $1 million? If someone's going to pay for it, yes, they are. So that's what I mean. With everything in life, you are worth what someone will pay you for.
Right.
So keep that in mind. So to your question, now the question really is for me. So I look at it different. Are you getting value for your money?
Right.
Meaning, what is your production? Does it equate to wins? Is there other people who are doing better than you, more than you, producing whatever, being more influential in wins than you that are making less? That will dictate the market for me. So Jordan Poole right now is on a team that I believe is sub 500. Jordan Poole is not playing up to his potential or his expectations. So for right now, Jordan Poole is overpaid. He's making more than what his value is worth. Do I think that changes in the next year or two? I do. And the thing is, you have to pay people based on market. To Jay's point, Tyler Hero set the market. They viewed Jordan Poole as I think they view Jordan Poole as a better player and a bigger piece to that franchise moving forward. So they had to pay him. Right. We see that in every sport. So so I think he's accurately paid for what they expect him to be.
So is the logic, Tone, when you got a guy who makes a X amount of dough and he signs a contract extension, so we're going off a year-to-year basis because it does make sense in the sense that I might have outperformed this contract, right? Or I might have underperformed this contract. For example, and I don't know who else you have, Hailey, but there are other guys. I'm not going to bring up any names because I don't know who else you have, but there are other guys in the league who have been paid. Not only have they been paid, they've been paid in the first year of the contract. It looks great, but then on the back end of the deal, it doesn't look nearly as good. And then there are guys who, we got this guy on the cheap. A prime example would be Steph Curry. And the reason why the Warriors got Steph Curry on the cheap early was because of his wheels, right? The idea that his wheels might be bad. So they ended up getting him on the cheap. And in the process of them getting him on the cheap, he clearly outperformed that contract. So then they ended up paying him, and they paid him for what he now is doing, which I think that it's equal value now. But when I think about guys in the past, Tone, I think about guys who they've either outperformed it or they've either underperformed or overperformed on the back end of the contract. As a prime example, another prime example, Tone, and this is another guy, Scottie Pippen. I mean, Scottie Pippen definitely outperformed that contract that he had when he was with the Bulls. They clearly underpaid for him, not knowing that, Scottie was going to turn in, Jordan was going to retire, and Scottie was going to turn into this all-league, all-world player, which would explain why he was complaining about his contract.
Yeah, exactly. But again, right, if you would have asked us year one and said, hey, Scottie just signed a 10-year, $10 million, whatever ridiculous amount, I think that's what it was, right? 10-year, $10 million contract, you would have been like, wow, for him?
Yeah.
Ooh. You would have oohed and awed because don't forget, and people forget this, right? In the late 80s, when that contract was signed, I think Magic was the highest paid player at like $1 million,
almost $2 million.
That was so for someone to get guaranteed $1 million every year for 10 years, that was huge. Now, it didn't age well. They didn't realize the player he'd become. They didn't realize the TV deal that they would sign and how ridiculous that would end up becoming. And just think about it. Even Jordan, go to Jordan in 97, 98. He's making $30 million a year. That's 110% of the team's salary cap.
Yeah.
110% was to one player. But now there's probably like 100 players making $30 million. It's nothing. Not nothing. But in comparison, it's just it's common. But this goes to my point of you're worth what someone will pay you.
Yeah.
When they asked Jerry Reinsdorf, is he worth $30 million? He laughed and said, he makes me $300 million. Yep, he's worth 30.
Yeah.
And you know what I mean? So that goes to my point. It's all relative, right?
No, 100%. And it depends on the circumstances. Every single player I'm going to mention is in totally different circumstances. So you have to take that into account as well. Yeah. So Jordan, we're going to say he's evenly kind of breaking.
I think
right now.
I think
he's early on his contract, so there's still a lot of time. So we'll see what happens. So okay, the next player is Tyrese Halliburton. Right now he's averaging 19, 5, and 11. We all know he's absolutely going off. The Pacers look crazy right now. They're just a lot better than I think what we expected. And so for him, he has a 4-year, $18 million contract. Makes about $4 million, and he's only 22. So Fluent, again, still early, kind of in that contract. But how do you feel about Tyrese?
Tyrese is the best value, period. When I saw this topic, I thought you were going to ask us, and that was the name that I bookmarked and said,
Really?
Halliburton is the best deal in the NBA. Because here's the thing. You say 14 million, but it's really not. It's 2 million.
Yeah.
I think 3 million, 4 million. And then there's a $7 or $8 million option, or sorry, not option, a
team option.
No, it's not a team option. It's a qualifying offer.
Right.
That's a qualifying offer. So that's not even guaranteed. So for the next, I think 2 years, he's really only got, I think, 4 million guaranteed, 6 million, something crazy. That is a guy putting up 20 and 11. Whew, that's a good deal right there.
Well,
that's the best deal right there. So
again.
At 22.
Yeah.
Too.
Oh, yeah. That's crazy.
After just being traded into a new system as well. And that's how quickly he's integrated. Like, it's crazy.
Well, to go back to what you mentioned, Tone, about a qualifying offer, it's still a team option. They have to decide whether or not they're going to extend him, right? Yes. And not only that, he's on a rook deal. Now, with him being on a rook deal and them getting what they're getting, the reason why I'm laughing, Tone, is because the people in Indiana, the people with the Pacers in their front office, on the one hand, they're going, man, we're going to have to pay this guy. But on the flip side of that, they're thinking, man, we better get everything that we can get from this guy right now, because when it's time to pay him, we can't let him just walk out the front door, because he's improved every year, Tone, right? Not only has he improved every year, his team is getting better. So when you got small markets like Indiana, when you got small markets like Oklahoma City and New Orleans, when you get guys on rook deals, well, you got to get everything that you can get out of them and see if you can lock them up early at a cheap rate, because sooner than later, they're going to probably end up leaving you, and they're going to leave you for more money. So you got to get everything that you can get from them right now.
Do you remember that when there was, I don't know if you heard this, I was high on Halliburton last year, but remember there was people when the trade happened saying, oh, Indiana, what were you thinking?
Right. Oh, yeah. Everybody was saying that.
Think of that. I mean, Tone, I think his last six of his last 10 games, he's 18-14. I mean, he's 19-10 for the season, 19-11 for the season. Yeah. So I'm thinking to myself, if I'm getting that for $4 million, yeah, let's eat this up, and let's eat this up for as long as we possibly can, because this $4 million is going to turn into $34 million.
So if you're the Pacers, are you looking to like make a move? Like, you see that what he, like, you don't have much longer with him at this discounted rate. Are you looking right now to make a move, maybe bring on a bigger salary and make a run right now? Because in a year, it's a wrap. You're going to have to pay him, and it's max money, right? He's going to be a max money guy.
Well, I think that they're in the same position, Tone, as Oklahoma City, but they're in the same position as Oklahoma City in the sense that we got our franchise lead guard. We got our franchise lead guard. We got a guy that we can build around. Now, the difference is as he continues to progress, well, the timeline goes up. That means that, if we're going to pay this guy, we got to get some better talent around him, which they do. They've got some good players. Mathurin's turning into a good. Mathurin looks like he's going to be a really good rookie, right? Miles, I don't know how much longer they're going to hold on to Miles.
That's what I was wondering.
I don't know what they're doing with Buddy Hield, but what they have is it looks like they got their foundation with both Mathurin and Halliburton. So it looks like they have those two guys.
Those names, sorry to cut you off, but when you say those names, you add in Turner, you add in Hield. Mm-hmm. It's a talented team.
It's not bad. They're not bad at all. They're not bad. They're not bad at all. And again, the emergence of Halliburton, I think it does. Just like what Shea is doing in Oklahoma City, I think it moves the timeline up. So that means that we got to start getting better. And they may be looking at making a move at the deadline to put together a package where we can get not necessarily a higher salary, not just a higher salary, Tone, more than just a better player in here, because we're not going to be able to hold on to these guys for as long as we have, considering what the money these guys can make in other places.
Jay, do you think come trade deadline that either Buddy or Miles or both will be gone? Do you think that's a package they'll trade off?
If they could get something better, if they could upgrade their team, because again, I think they got their franchise point guard, and I think they got their franchise other perimeter player in Mathurin. So if they can upgrade at those positions with Miles and with Buddy Hield, I do think that they move off of those guys if it's going to make them better. That's what teams do. If it's going to make us better, absolutely.
Yeah. Elder Rufus also mentioned Chris Duarte, who Oregon guy.
I love him.
I think he's one of the most underrated players as well. So they're so unseen.
Is he not on your list?
No, he wasn't on my list. Actually, I didn't even think about him. But I only picked a few guys because we have so much to cover. But yeah, shout out to him. And the Pacers they deserve their flowers for sure. Okay, one of my favorites, Tyrese Maxey. So I don't believe that he's on a contract. Please correct me if I'm wrong. But he makes about 2.7 mil a season. As of right now, only 22. Obviously, last year is kind of his big debut year where he started getting a lot more minutes and we saw what he could do. And then obviously the beginning of this season until he, got injured and the Sixers are just going through it right now. But Fluent, give me your take on Tyrese, if you think he's overpaid, underpaid, and what you see for his future.
Anytime you're you're that far below the average salary in the NBA.
Nuts.
Crazy, right?
Right?
I couldn't believe it.
Starter, and then you're a starter who actually makes an impact in games.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, that's another great value. And here's the thing: teams like the Sixers, teams that have two or more max money guys, you have to find players like this, right? You have to, because that's the only way you can fill a roster and actually be competitive. Because we've learned, even if you have 2 max money guys or 3 max money guys,
doesn't mean you're gonna win.
It's still always about the surrounding cast. How do they fit? Those role players, what do they do? He's this perfect change of pace. Like when you think of, James Harden running the point a little bit slower, a little bit rounder, right? Then you bring in Tyrese Maxey, and he's just like, boom, right?
Yeah, he's a force.
Right? He's just so quick. It's like I equate it to football, right? You got like that bruising back, and then you got that change of pace scat back, who's just going to throw the defense off because they were so used to someone slow coming at them and hitting them. Now you're whipping all over the place. That's what Maxey brings, among other things, to the Sixers. Yeah, that is a great contract. He's what we're 2020. Well, this is the 2022-23 season. Yeah, 2.7.
Crazy.
4.3 next year, and then the qualifying offer is 6.2. So yeah, 4 million. That's insane. Insane.
Well, Tone and I had this conversation a while ago, Hailey, and I actually raised Tone's eyebrows when I said I was ready to let James Harden walk out the front door. I wanted to give him the ball. I wanted to give him the ball, and I wanted him to run it. And the reason why I said that was because, number one, his upside, the athlete that he is. Not only that, Doc Rivers as the head coach, Sam Cassell as the assistant coach. He goes to Point Guard University. So there's no way that this thing could go wrong. Add that to the fact that we got him on the cheap. Got him in the middle of the first round. Not only did you get him, not only did you get him in the middle of the first round, but he's developing a lot faster than a lot of people thought that he would. And then you bring James Harden in, and it's kind of slowing down his development. Now, I know that you don't have a lot of time when you got guys like Embiid, right? You got guys like Embiid. We don't really have 5, 6, 7 years to develop guys. We got to win now, which is why I wanted to give Maxey the ball. And I was ready to let James Harden walk out the front door, because I think that this guy at this rate, I think that this guy could definitely be a league guard. I put him in the same conversation with DeJounte Murray and Darius Garland. I think he could be that good if you had given him the ball. But $2 million, that's peanuts, Tone, for them. That's nothing.
The average NBA salary. Any guesses?
Oh, the average NBA salary is $5 million.
Average $7.5 million.
Wow.
$7.5 million on average.
Obviously, there's guys making 40 and guys making 1. But the average is 7.5. This guy's getting paid 2 as a starter.
So that's minimum wage, almost.
You got a guy on the bench. You got a guy on the bench making 40.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. I know, but we know that
those two in a heartbeat.
We know it'll change for Maxey. I mean, he's going to keep it up. I think. Okay, last one. Colin Sexton, 4 years, $70 million, around 16 mil a season. Right now, he's averaging 14.3. Jay, how do you feel about Colin? And do you think that's a fair price for him?
I'm a little bit of a Sexton.
Fanboy?
I'm a Sexton.
Yeah.
I'm definitely a stan when it comes to. I had him as most improved this year because I thought Utah, which is what's happening with them, I thought they were going to be complete garbage, and I thought they were just going to give him the ball, and I thought they were just going to turn him loose. And I had him as the most improved player this year. He was one of, I think, 9 guards. No, I think he was one of 9 guards. Not 9 guards. Yeah, 9 guards last year that averaged 24 a game. So for him to go to Utah and do what he was doing, and before he got to Utah, it wasn't because of his game. It was strictly because of injury. But he's shown that he's still got the goods. He's not only shown that he's still got the goods, he's still athletic. And we're on this deal where, again, I think it's at like 4. I think it's what, 15? It's 17.
Average of 17 per year.
Yeah, so about 17. That's a fair deal for him. I don't think that they overpaid for him. I don't think that they underpaid for him. And I think this is a contract that in another 2 or 3 years, Tone, I think this contract is going to look really good on Utah's part.
I'm not a Sexton guy.
I am.
I don't sext.
Okay.
Not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
Okay.
This is year 1. This is year one of a 4-year, $71 million contract. And it goes 16 and a half, 17, 18, 19. I think Utah, I think Colin Sexton are both way overperforming. And I think by the end of this season and next season, they're both going to be back down to earth. And I think we're going to be looking at it going, how do we trade? Because it's only year one of this contract. And I think they'll be looking at it and going, can we trade this contract? Yeah, it's 17 million. Luckily, in today's NBA, 17 million is not right. I can't believe that. It's not crazy. It's it's not even half of a max. So it's tradable. I think it's a good deal in the sense that, again, comparatively to the rest of the NBA, I wouldn't have given him that money.
Now, on top of that, Tone, remember, like I just said, we're talking about a guard, not an overall player. We're talking about a guard that averaged over 24 a game last year before he got hurt. And this is what he was leading up to, right? And the fact that they gave him that money, that contract on this deal where he's healing up and proving that he can play. Now, next year is the year that we get him back to where he was on his way to. We get him back on track. That's why I'm thinking on the back end of this deal, it's going to be a value for Utah as opposed to
of course, if he continues to improve,
right,
and then year 3, 4, then yes, you're right. It looks like a great deal. I feel like he's going to take a step back. I said, I hope I'm wrong. I just feel like he takes a step back.
What's giving you those vibes, Tone? I understand that.
When I see him play, I don't know. I see a guy who he can score. Right. And he's like, that's a guy that I'd want coming off my bench. I get like Jamal Crawford, Lou Williams, kind of bring him on and he's a bucket. I don't feel like he's my starting point guard.
So the way you feel about him, so how I feel about Van Fleet, that's how you feel about him.
That's how I feel about him. Yes.
Okay, I can get with that. All right, I can get with that. Okay.
All right. I like it. Okay. Moving on. So basically, I heard a interview about a month ago. A reporter was interviewing Magic Johnson on.
Oh wait, are we going right to that?
Yeah. Unless you want to.
Can we pause for a second and let? So we have a challenger. We're going to the ring. True Hero, aka I don't know other names, has a beef with Chill. And he said, I've never been able to cook him.
So come bring it.
Live and in person.
Bring it.
So we are going to bring
it
him on. And I don't know if his camera's not working. True Hero, aka I don't know what other names are you there? NBA?
Nah, just that. Thank you for letting me be on the show, man.
All right, man. So you got words for Chill? Go ahead.
Before I jump straight into that, I'm watching the Dallas Pistons. Luka, can we admit Chill Luka's food on defense? Every time they attack him, the same way Poole is, Chill, you gotta Luka's the same way.
What do you mean? What do you mean, Chill? You gotta. What does that have to? What does that have to do?
I don't know. I didn't get what you said there.
Remember when you were saying Poole was food?
Right.
Luka's the same way. But
I never said anything about.
No, he's just making a point. He's just making a point.
And I never said Luka was. Luka might be worse than Poole. If Poole is a bucket of extra crispy, Luka is 2 of them. Because they go. I have never, to be honest with you, when I think about stars, when I think about great players in the game, Tone, I can't remember a player a superstar who other teams hunt. They go after him. And I never seen anybody go after a superstar player like other teams go after Luka. So
and one more and then that's it. So I remember the Pacers when y'all talking about the Pacers. Can y'all imagine if the Suns didn't match that Pacers offer? Ayton would have been up in there with Halliburton. How y'all think that would have went?
Who wouldn't have matched it?
Remember the Suns. Ayton was going to sign with the Pacers. 4 year, 200. Right. But then the Suns matched it. And if they didn't match it,
better they would have been. They would have been awesome. No doubt about that. With him and Miles Turner, I think they would have been awesome. No question about that.
I think Turner gets traded.
You think they move off of him?
Turner's gone.
Now, and since we on the subject of we are on the subject of cooking people. Hey, Keyshawn, can you tell the people in the chat how much you when the season first started, how much you was raving about the Utah Jazz? Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Don't laugh. Bring it. You stepped in the ring. So talk about the Utah Jazz and how awesome you said that they were going to be, and how I was going to have to eat crow, even though they've lost 7 of their last 10 games. Even though you couldn't care less about the Utah Jazz. You just needed to be right. Only except you were completely wrong.
But chill, they beat the Nuggets by 20. I mean, I was thinking, hold on,
and then
I got fooled.
No, you didn't get fooled. No, you didn't get fooled. You couldn't care less about the Utah Jazz. Anytime you were in my chats when I was on YouTube, not any time that I ever hear you talk about the Utah Jazz one time, you needed to be right more than you cared about the Utah Jazz.
Now you right,
Tone, we
done.
All right, Tone, we done. Get them up out of here.
All right,
get them up out of here.
But look, that's not what I'm here. Because Mama yesterday on TikTok.
Okay, what are you here for? So
I'm getting to that now.
We
was on TikTok. I was saying, he said Draymond Green was top 15 defender. I named 15, and he said Kawhi. He don't know if Kawhi was a better defender than Draymond.
All time or right now?
What?
Currently?
All time.
Kawhi Leonard the top.
Prime versus prime.
Prime versus prime. Kawhi Leonard the top 15 player. Okay, so the guys that you mentioned. So you mentioned Mutombo. I think that Draymond was a better defender than Mutombo. Who else did you mention?
The people you said was iffy was Gary Payne, Kawhi, and I think it was Mutombo, and that was it.
Mutombo, I think, is out. I think Draymond is a better defender than him.
I think Draymond Green's a better defender. Because of his versatility.
Right. I think he's a better defender.
The most better shot blocker, but other than that, yeah.
And you can make the argument that Draymond might be a more versatile defender. Gary Payton is a better one-on-one. Gary Payton is a better one-on-one defender than Draymond. I think Draymond is a more versatile defender than Gary Payton, but I think Gary Payton is a better. I think he's a better one-on-one player. Now, when you talk about Kawhi Leonard and when you talk about Draymond Green, let's talk about versatility, and let's talk about a guy in Draymond Green who defends the 5. Not only does he defend the 5, he defends the 4. What is Kawhi Leonard's mantra? What do we consider Kawhi Leonard in terms of a defender? He's one of the best wing defenders. Is that correct?
Top 15.
Is he one of the best? Is he one of the best wing defenders?
Yes.
Okay, he's one of the best wing defenders, as opposed to Draymond Green, who's one of the best all-around defenders. Is that fair?
He is a good.
If that's true, then that means that there's a conversation between them two. For you to sit here and say that there's no question about it,
this is why I don't think. Because when you said Ramen, you said he definitely the better defender, and I agree with that. But this is why I think. Because I'm gonna use ticket point. Iguodala was guarding him that 15 finals. You saw when he and Spurs matched up. Kawhi was doing that job on LeBron. Draymond, I'm not gonna say he did a good job, but Iguodala did a better job.
Kawhi was doing
wasn't the best defender on his own team.
Kawhi is better at their peak. Kawhi is better than Draymond. At their best, Kawhi is better than Draymond.
Can you admit that?
Kawhi is a better defender than Draymond at their best.
Wait a minute. That's not what we're talking about here. We're talking about top 15 play. We're talking about top 15 defenders. That's what this was about.
If you're talking career, I'm sorry, Kawhi gets no love anywhere because he doesn't play enough guys.
Not only that, Tone. Not only that. We're talking about naming 15 guys. That's what this was about. What he's trying to do is he's trying to turn this into something completely different.
Oh, okay.
That's what he's trying to do. He's trying to turn this into Kawhi Leonard is a better defender than Draymond Green, as opposed to the original question, which was, I can't name 15 defenders better than Draymond Green all time. That's what we was talking about. Now, what he's going to try to sell you is he's trying to sell you, I cooked you because I think Kawhi Leonard is a better defender than Draymond Green. That's not what this was about. Stick to the point.
All right, so Kawhi.
Here you go. You're on the clock. You got 24 seconds, and then the bell will ring.
So are you sold on Kawhi? Because you were saying Kawhi was FC on the live yesterday.
I'm not sold on Kawhi. Now if Kawhi gets the edge, it's not by much. I'm not sold on him because I think Dre is a little bit more versatile. But if I had to pick between the two, I could probably give the edge to Kawhi, but I think it's really close.
All right, well, Gary Payne is the best perimeter defender of all time.
He is not. No, he isn't.
No, I mean for the point guard position.
Are you sure about that? Was he better than Sidney Moncrief?
I thought he was a shooting guard.
He played point guard for 7 years.
The bell is tolled. True hero.
Flo, thank you for letting me on the show, man. Yo, chill.
Appreciate you, man.
being with you for finally once instead of the comments.
Aww.
Yeah, I'll take it light or take it.
There you go. Thanks, Rio. All right. So if we have time, I know there's a couple other people that asked to come on. If we have some time, we're going to get you on because we have a big topic. Take it light, but take it. Hailey.
Dude, you're not having any of it. You're like, no, sir. I mean, that's a good conversation, Kawhi versus Dre, but also it's hard to compare. But all right, we moving on to Steph and Magic.
Now you're more fluent.
Did we get to who was overpaid?
No. That was we just did. Who was overpaid or underpaid?
Yeah, we can definitely move on. No doubt.
Were they over or underpaid? Yes.
No doubt.
Okay, so I saw an interview of Magic. Somebody was interviewing Magic about Steph Curry. You know that Magic only gives love to Steph. Like, he's a huge Steph supporter. And this conversation isn't necessarily Steph versus Magic, because we've had that before. We can have that again. So it's not really what does Steph need to add to his resume in order to be better than Magic. It's more so I want to talk about the various teams both of them were on. We can even go through various statistics, whether it's defending, whether it's shooting, scoring, whatever we want, just to get to the bottom of who do you think has a deeper bag, and if so, like, what would Steph have to do to be better than Magic? I mean, but not just like the accolades, not another Finals MVP, not another rings, but like what truly separates them? What is that gap like, and has it closed at all? And Fluent, you start because
why don't you start? Because this isn't a conversation for me.
Me
because
neither.
There's nothing he can do. So since you're the Warriors fan, since you're the Steph fan, why don't you try to convince me that he should be in the same breath as Magic, the greatest point guard of all time? Please take it away, a guy who's not even a point guard. Go ahead.
H Boogie, we all ears. Talk to us, H. Tell us what you thought we were going to
hold
back with open arms.
This is something that I truly do struggle with, because yes, over any other player in the league, I'm probably most biased towards Steph. Like I see the best in him, and I think he's underrated. I still think that he's underrated in so many ways. But since, I mean, obviously defensively, that is something that has changed recently. Like, he's put on more weight. He's, grown in so many ways. When you look at accolades, sorry, it's echoing a little bit, but when you look at accolades, they're separated by a ring. So Steph gets one more ring. They both have 5 rings. The longevity of Magic's career is less, and he's won more in that time. I know that's a major argument. What's the point of all these things? It's to win. It's not to, be a better player. So anyways, yeah, I don't really know how to argue it. I just know that, like, Steph, when I look at Steph in this era, could Steph have survived in the 80s, in the 90s? When I look at Magic, would Magic be ordinary now? Let's be honest. Let's be honest. Was he an elite playmaker? Yes. No question. One of the best, if not the best. Defense.
All right.
Let's be honest. Let's be honest.
Yes, we are. We're being honest.
Let's be honest.
We are being honest. No doubt about it.
At the beginning of his career, not great. But has he grown? He's changed in so many ways. Like, every season, Steph gets better. He adds to that bag. He just gets better in so many ways. If he's not scoring, he's doing something else. Magic played less time, obviously, but in his first season, he won a Finals MVP as a rookie. That's unheard of. That's crazy.
Tone, did you take your blood pressure medicine? Because I can see, I can see him.
Emotional, damn it!
I see Tone. Take it, yeah, Tone. Give me a couple of woosahs, Tone. H Boogie, as you were saying, continue. H, as you were saying.
No, that's all I have to say. That's all I'm here to learn. I'm here to learn. I'm not.
No, I'm listening to you. You're making some really good points. H, keep going. You're making some really good points about Magic winning the Finals MVP in his first season, and continue.
Yeah, so I'm not necessarily convinced that Steph is there yet, because I'm the type of person, and people keep saying this on my lives, they're like, you guys are influencing me too much. They say that. They're like,
you're welcome.
Yeah, but I really do appreciate it, because I learned different perspectives, and I want to respect like what came before. And it's so hard to compare Steph and Magic, because they're so, Magic was 6'5", Steph
6'9",
6'9".
6'9".
Okay, so Magic was 6'9". I don't know.
That's bigger than Luka, by the way, just so you know.
And Steph is what, like 6'2", 6'3",
6'3",
give or take.
And people and more. Anyways, and yes, he's 6'3".
And their skill sets are so drastically different. Like comparing them is so hard. So yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like in the eras, Fluent, be honest, would Magic be just a regular guy compared to what we have now?
He wouldn't, because here's the thing. Magic, because if you're comparing today's NBA, Magic wouldn't be playing the point guard. He would be playing a point center, because what are our centers now? They're 6'9", 6'10". With one or two exceptions, the average center right now is like 6'9", 6'10", not 7'1" that it was back then. So he is a 6'9" center who is now. Could you imagine someone who passes as well, if not better than Jokic, who's more athletic than Jokic, who can move around, and that's your center passing? He's a better passer than Jokic, playing the center position, him coming down at you. Isaiah Thomas actually described it incredibly. Who has that baby hook, he would still dominate today like he dominated then. He would just be called a different position, but he would still be doing what he did, which was working down low, working in the post, running fast breaks, rebounding himself, almost 8 rebounds a game, and taking it full court and distributing to a much faster, wide open NBA. So imagine a guy who was working the post back then with the baby hook, who was kicking out to guys who couldn't shoot. They weren't as good as shooters back then. The three-point line was just introduced into the NBA in his rookie year. They were shooting like 20-something% in his first year. So you have that guy now kicking it out to guys who are shooting 40% from three. His assists go up. His assists will go up.
His points go down in this era.
No, he's still averaging 20-something points a game. Of course he is. This era is scoring around the same as that era was. It's around 110 points a game. It's around the same. But just the increase, there's an increase in field goal percentage and an increase in three-point percentage and an increase in three-point shooting. So again, you have a guy who's coming down at the high post who's now kicking it out to shooters on either side. Listen, of course, that has to do with his team and the system and all that kind of stuff, we're assuming. So yeah, Magic is an all-star, all NBA MVP caliber player every single year. That doesn't change. Curry, again, on the other hand, okay.
Look at the league at that time. And who did he have on his team?
Yeah, who do you have on his team?
Well, Kareem. Doesn't that help to just have the best center of all time?
Yes,
Does that not help you?
Yes,
it was difficult to integrate because Kareem did not play that style of play, that Showtime fast pace. That was a struggle to get Kareem to run. Because don't forget, Kareem was 33. It's not like he got rookie Kareem. He wasn't getting. He was still great. Don't get me wrong. I'm not knocking Kareem at all, but he was 33-year-old Kareem. He wasn't 23-year-old Kareem. It was a different player. And so a lot of times, if you watch them, they had to wait for Kareem. And yes, it was kind of a bailout sometimes. And they had that bailout, which was good, to just throw it into the center when they needed to slow it down. But on that fast-paced team, there's a reason they had to switch through, get rid of Norm Nixon, bring in, start Michael Cooper, who wasn't really like a NBA starter at that time. He was surprised that he was even starting. They brought him in, then they bring in James Worthy. Like, they had to bring in pieces and they evolved that team. They went through 3 different coaches. Granted, there was a tragedy and that's why, but still, he went through 3 different coaches in his first few years. So there was transition. It wasn't like, yes, he went into a very talented team, but that team did nothing before he got there. So let's not just say, hey, you got this great team, which
he revived the NBA.
You got a talented team, but he was the linchpin. He was the reason that team won championships. I will say this: you say he won an MVP as a rookie.
Yeah, because
even though I'm a Magic is my favorite player,
questionable.
That was Kareem's. Yeah. Like, that was Kareem's MVP. They don't make it to Game 6 if it's not for Kareem, but different conversation.
Okay, Jay.
I've said this.
Let me have it.
I've said this countless times. Magic Johnson retired in 1991. He came back in 1995, the 95-96 season, to basically finish out his career. But that was 30 years ago, that Magic. And the pace that he was on, we got robbed of 4 years. Because when he retired, he was 32 years old. So we got robbed of 4 years. So at the pace that he was on, had he continued at that pace, which there's no reason to think that he couldn't continue playing like that, at the pace that he was on, he would have retired over 25,000 points and over 15,000 assists. I am not that guy that's walking around here today that's saying Bob Cousy is the best point guard that I've ever seen when this dude has been removed from the NBA for 60 years. You telling me that in 60 years, you never seen nobody better than him? I'm not going to say that 20 years from now. That'll be 50 years for me to go, I have never seen anybody better than Magic Johnson. Because I'm having a difficult time believing the way that the game has advanced and how far we've gotten to believe that in the next 20 years, I'm not going to see somebody that I go, I think he might be better than Magic. Because that'll be 50 years that he's been removed. It's just not this guy. And the reason why it's not this guy is because I hear people telling me that Steph Curry changed the game. Actually, what he did was he enhanced the game because they were doing what Steph does, only except Steph just did it at a different level. So he enhanced what was going on. There were no 6'9" lead guards running around before Magic showed up. Not only were there no 6'9" lead guards running around before Magic showed up, there weren't any until he left the league. There still weren't any guys like that. Not only were there not any guys like that, if Magic played today, how wide open the game is, how fast the game is, how not only how fast the game is, how wide open the game is, how simple it is to score, how light the whistle is. Magic, I can't see Magic not being a consistent 20 and 12 guy. Not 20 and 12, I'm sorry, 25 and almost 15 guy. There's no reason why I don't think that he couldn't do that. So once again, I'm not saying that in the next 20 years, I'm not going to see somebody better than Magic. It's just not this guy.
Well, I'll say this. In the next 20 years, it'll still be a conversation. That's how good, that's how good, but that's how good Magic was. And people forget because they always want to look at the end, right? And then when he got AIDS, and they're looking at the 92 Dream Team Magic. Mm-hmm. Like most of the guys that talk poorly about Magic, I'm talking to you, Dub. Like they saw the 92 Dream Team. That was Magic later. They did not see, like, when he wasn't athletic, he couldn't. Yes, he actually was athletic. Yes, he could dunk. Now, could he guard a 6'1" speedy guard? No, he couldn't. But he could guard the 2, the 3, the 4, and most 5s. Yeah. Right? So was he a great defender? No, but he was a very good defender. Yeah. He got tons of steals. He got 8 rebounds on top of his double-digit assists, on top of his 20 points per game. Like, people want to forget all those things. And it's almost impossible to compare him to Steph because they play completely different. Like, I mean, completely different styles. Of course, Steph is the greatest shooter we've ever seen. And guess what? To Jay's point, in 40 years, we still might be saying he's the greatest shooter we've ever seen. Although, likely we'll probably see a better one.
Right.
But that being said, you're comparing Apple. It's like when people compare Jordan to LeBron. They're completely different play styles. Right. It's difficult to do. And if you look at just the numbers, well, Magic does more. He's a better defender. Now, the bar's pretty low with Steph, right? He's a way better rebounder. He's a better passer. He's a better playmaker. He's, gets more, when I say making assists, I mean. And let's not forget, people like, oh, he wasn't a great shooter. You're right. He wasn't when he came into the league. But guess what he was when he left the league? He
wasn't a great long ball shooter. He had a money mid-range game.
He turned into a very good shooter.
Yes, he did. Right? Magic had a money mid-range game.
Magic was getting killed by people that Bird's a better shooter. And by the end of it, who was the better player? It was Magic. He surpassed him because he figured out, hey, I need to get a jump shot. And let's not forget either. I believe he's around 90%, maybe 88% free throw shooter for his career. Correct. So he's a big guy who could get to the line and no drop off. He's making those. I'm not comparing that to Steph because obviously Steph is all time great. But I'm just saying it's not like his weakness was speedy little guards. Cool. We figured that out.
Mm-hmm. I think that a lot of people also, Tone, they look at Magic and Curry in a one-on-one when in reality it's not like that. And as much as Steph Curry would give Magic trouble, Magic in his prime would give Steph Curry hell.
Oh, neither one could defend.
Right. He would give as much as Curry would give Magic hell, Magic would give Steph Curry hell.
Yeah. Curry would blow right by him and get his 75-80% from 0 to 3 feet. But Magic would just post him up and baby hook him. Right.
Baby hook this dude to death. So when I think, again, my stance on this is, what did Magic do that separated him? He completely changed the lead guard position. Without Magic, there is no Luka. There is no Anthony. There is no James.
There's no LeBron.
There's no.
Sorry to interrupt you, but like if without Magic, LeBron is forced, because people would say, well, you can't do that, and you're forcing him to be like a power forward.
Yeah, you got to play the four.
LeBron would be as a power forward.
You got to play the four.
Now, again, Magic got lucky. He got a very good owner who brought in the right coach who let him do that. Because guess what? Jerry West wanted to do with Magic. Hey, you're going to be the power forward. You're going to get us rebounds and take some of the lumps away from Kareem. That's what he wanted to do. That's why there was such a power struggle in LA when Dr. Buss bought the team. He's like, no, he's going to be our point guard. That's what he wants to do. And that was the big conflict, because he was like, I don't want to be a power forward. He's well, too bad. You're 6'9". That's what you're going to be.
Right.
Very lucky that they allowed him to do that, which became that evolution of the big guard.
Right.
Okay. Fair enough. You know, is there, so basically you're saying, I mean, and I agree with this. Like, I believe Magic is better as well. And I don't really know if there's anything that Steph could do to catch up because of how much Magic did in a shorter career. And I guess just who he was and how dominant he was as well. So, but if you had to pick a point guard you see now, do you think there's anybody that could even level up to where he is at, or even come close?
Luka could. No, I think Luka could. Why are you shaking your head? Yeah. If Luka plays 15 years and wins, 5-6 titles, and
Tone, he's a cone on the defensive side of the basketball. He doesn't do anything on the defensive side of it. He gives you nothing. At least, and
he'll grow.
We're in year 5. That's what year we're in right now.
People compare Luka to Bird, but I see him more as a Magic.
Offensively, I mean, I look at Magic and I look at the kind of player he was in terms of transition, how smart he was, the defender that he was. Magic was a better team defender. Magic was definitely a better. Magic was a better.
Magic didn't have the greatest defense. Like,
no, he was not. He was not. He was an average. He was an average one-on-one defender, but he was a great team defender.
Okay.
Not a great team defender. He was a good team defender.
Good, yeah,
I'm not going to go great. No. We're not going to say great.
Magic fan all day.
Right. No, we're not going to. He was a good team. He was a good team defender. But we're talking about a dude who revolutionized the position. Steph Curry. When I look at his game, I put Steph Curry in the same category. Tony and I have had this discussion. I put him in the same category with guys like Jerry West, James Harden, the combo guard. He's not a 1. He's not a 2. He's both of those guys. And he sits in a class by himself in terms of productivity. So when I think about Magic, Magic is the guy at the end of the game, you're giving him the ball. You don't have to set him up. He's setting you up. You don't have to call his number. He's going to call his own number. He's the guy who's running the entire thing. Steph Curry, when he gets going, a lot of stuff has to happen in order for him to get going. As good as he is and as awesome as he is, there are things that help him get going.
Fair enough. I appreciate I don't know.
H Boogie.
You didn't. I thought, why are you shying away from? Because you at the beginning you asked the question, what would Curry be if he played in Magic's era? Why are you shying away from that?
I can't say because I didn't see Magic play like that. So like I try to remain humble and like where my stances are. And obviously I'm extremely biased towards Steph and have seen, like, I can say I've seen his career. I've seen the changes. I watch him day in and day out. If
you're looking at what Steph's doing this year, it's hard to say any guard is better than it. No, I'm saying specifically this year because he's leading his team in assists and rebounds, for Christ's sake. But again, we're comparing career versus career. And I always try to do this. And it's hard, but I always try to do that. And it's almost impossible for some people to do this. I try to look 10, 15 years from now when they're both done, right? That's why I've told you guys this before. I don't rank players when they're still playing because because a lot of people are projecting what they're going to do. And they're also looking at, they're caught up in the moment in today, and they're looking at skill and talent. But when you can step back and look at two players and really compare and say, okay, this is what they did. Forget what they're gonna do. Forget how I feel about them. This is what they did versus this is what they did. And again, I compare versus their era because they can't decide when they were born, right? It's just that's when they were born. So I got to compare them to the era that they were in because there's no time machine. right? There's no, well, if Curry, people always say, well, if Curry went back there, he'd cook these guys and with his dribbling and his shooting. Well, yeah, but in reality, if he was born in 1962,
he wouldn't have played like that.
He wouldn't have played like that.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Correct.
So of course, if you send me back in a time machine, I'm going to look brilliant.
Correct.
Of course.
Yeah,
because you've seen it all. Because you already seen everything.
That's
Right.
That's unrealistic.
Right.
And that's why you started to ask the question, you shied away from it. If Curry was back then, like if Curry was in the 70s, he would have struggled because there's no 3-point line. But do I not think he could have been a capable point guard with assists? Well, we saw Mark Jackson tried to make him a point guard, and he struggled for those first couple of years. Now, would he have adapted? And of course he would have. Of course he would have. But we're just guessing how he would have developed. Because imagine, what is Steph Curry without the 3-ball? Today, what is he without the 3-ball?
There's not really much else going on with him outside of the long ball. I mean,
don't
get now. Wait a minute. Hold on for a second. Hold on for a second.
Without the risk of him hitting a 3, what is he?
Steph Curry's game outside of the long ball, like his main weapon is the long ball, but outside of that, he doesn't really do that much. Is that not fair?
I think that.
What are his strengths? Shooting threes.
Shooting threes, he can drive like a
thing. But if you're not worried about him shooting a 3,
he can drive. He'll draw the foul. I mean,
right?
He's a good.
Which I'm not saying that he doesn't do that. I'm not saying that he doesn't do that.
That's his bread and butter, 100%.
But if there's no 3-ball, it's harder. It's harder to drive when you're not worried about you
because of his size and
but if we doing that, then we got to do the same thing with bigs too. Like if Shaq can't play in the post, like what was Shaq?
No, but
right? We can't just do that with.
That's why I said if he was in the 70s, where there was
I understand that. I understand.
I think I don't know. I just think, like you said, it's like we can make all the what ifs
right.
one, but I feel like because of who he is, he still would be that person. I think he would adapt. I think he would, just like he does now, like I've already mentioned, like when he's failing to score from the the perimeter, he's able to drive. He's able to that mid range is, he has a great mid range. Like I don't know, but it's hard to say.
Everyone thinks I'm yapping.
Hold on for a second, Tom. Let me deal with this dude. Toast the ghost. Let me deal with this dude. Toast the ghost, whoever the hell he is. First and foremost, I'm not lying about anything that I said. I didn't say that Steph Curry was James Harden. I said he's in the same category in terms of a combo guard. That's what I said. Get your story straight when you talk to me.
Point guard. Yes,
that's number one. I'm not lying. I didn't say that he was.
Let me talk about the capping. Let me talk about the capping because people ask me who would he be?
Oh my god!
These dudes make me sick with this. Jamal Williams, this clown right here. I bet you he won't come in here and say that to my face.
They always ask me, who would he be? Who would he be if he played in a different era, like the 60s or 70s, without the 3-point line? So let's be clear, because y'all think I think he's gonna suck. I said he would be Jerry West. And if you don't know, because you probably don't, if you think I'm capping, go check out who Jerry West was back then.
Correct.
That's who he would be. He would be a point guard who scored a ton. Let's not forget Jerry West, right? Most 20, 30, and 40-point games in the NBA Finals. He's a damn logo, for Christ's sakes.
Correct.
That is not putting someone down when you say without the 3-point line, he would be fucking Jerry West. So now you probably just don't know him well enough to be like, you think that's cap? No, that's the biggest compliment I can give someone. You know what else I'd say about Steph? Because you think I'm capping. I said Steph is the second. If you put him as a point guard, he's the second best point guard of all time. If you call him a shooting guard, which I do, he's the third best shooting guard of all time. That's a pretty damn good. Rating for him, don't you think?
I hate these dudes. To be honest with you, I don't like these dudes. I hate them. Jamal,
only behind Magic as a point guard, and only behind MJ and Curry as a shooting guard. I'd say that's pretty good.
That's fair. I can definitely give it that logic. I can definitely give it that logic. Fucking lying, you do. That makes me sick, Hailey. I swear it does. It makes me sick. These clowns in here that don't know nothing about basketball. That just what they do is they listen to people who talk, and not only do they talk, they listen to people who talk loud. And just because you talk loud does not mean that you're right.
They listen to Nick wrong, and then
they listen to people who talk loud. I'm a liar. What am I lying about? I'm lying about the fact that I think that Steph Curry is a combo guard, and I put him in the same category with guys like James Harden and Jerry West, and I think he's way better than those guys. I'm lying about that.
You know what's the best? Ask NBA players and NBA coaches and NBA executives. And they'll tell you, if you had to pick one, point guard or shooting guard, 8 out of 10 of them will tell you he's a shooting guard because he does more shooting guard things than point guard things. That doesn't mean he doesn't do point guard things.
Yes, he does.
Wait. So in the sorry, Fluent, go ahead. I just want to say, like, in the chat, you guys, like, that's not Jay's not saying that Harden and Steph are like comparable players. He's saying that like they're both in that same like, combo guard.
Jerry West,
whatever.
Anyway, as you were saying, they goofy. They goofy. I'm good.
Jerry West, Allen, if I may, Jerry West, Allen Iverson, James Harden, Steph Curry. They don't play the traditional point guard or shooting guard. They play somewhere in the middle. That's all he's saying. So
and that's why I got those guys: Allen Iverson, James Harden, Jerry West. Yeah, that's how I see him.
So these people, we love you. You paid your hard-earned money. So we will get to Big Homes. Are you going to read them? Sorry, I'll let you read them. Go ahead.
Oh yeah, I got you. All right. All I want for Christmas is for somebody to tell Ticket he needs headphones and a mic. His audio be killing me. Also killing it. So you know, ball.
No, I do not. According to these people, I don't know nothing.
Nope. What do they know?
I don't know nothing.
Dope minions in the chat.
They did steal him. That is true.
Desmond Bane is up there.
Oh, bang for buck.
Oh yeah,
100%. He's probably the next to Halliburton. Because I think he's on like a $2 million deal too, right?
Yeah, they got him. Definitely got him on the cheap. Yeah,
he needs to get healthy though.
I think that he was if I'm not mistaken, I think that he was a late first round pick. If he was Tone. If he was a first round pick, I think he was a late first round pick. And him being a late first round pick, him ended up cracking that lineup and starting the way he's been starting. He's been awesome. No doubt about that. They got him on the cheap. No doubt.
I'm going to read this one, Hailey, only because Christopher D, JJ Records was supposed to be on this week to tell us why 2014 was a bigger finals collapse than 2011 for LeBron James. But he was in surgery. We're glad to hear that you're out and everything as well. So he's going to join us next week. Tell us why. So what's good, fellas? Just got out of surgery, but I'll be ready for Thursday. Thoughts on Ron, L host, naming off KD Hall of Fame talent of Iggy, Ibaka, and Ben Simmons.
Wait, KD Hall.
So in the debate show, Ron said that KD played with more Hall of Fame players. Dell asked him to name them, and 3 of the people that Ron named to catch you up to speed was Iggy, Ibaka, and Ben Simmons. I think that Iggy. What
about Iggy though?
I think Iggy's Hall of Fame. Iggy has a case just because of what he did. Kind of again, don't forget it's not NBA; it's career basketball. Just with what he did for his full basketball career as a 76er, like he was really good and the longevity that he's going to have. He's got titles. He's got a Finals MVP. How many Finals MVPs are not in the Hall of Fame?
How many Finals MVPs? So the Finals MVP was first given out in 1969. So if you run down from 1969, let's see, Jerry West won it in 69. Willis Reed won it in 70. Jabbar won it in 71. Chamberlain won it in 72. Who am I thinking about? Willis Reed won it again in 73. Dave Cowens won it in 74. Rick Barry won it in 75. Now flip that around. Havlicek won it in 74. Dave Cowens won it in 76. Bill Russell, Walton won it in 77. Wes Unseld won it in 78. Dennis Johnson won it in 79. Magic won it in 80. 81 would be Cedric Maxwell won it in 81. 82 would be Magic won it in 82. Moses won it in 83. Bird won it in 84. Jabbar won it in 85. Bird won it in 86. Magic won it in 87. Magic won it again. I'm sorry, James Worthy won it in 88. Joe Dumars won it in 89. Isaiah won it in 90. Jordan won it in 91, 92, 93. Lajuan won it in 94. And he won it again in 95. Jordan won it in 96, 97, 98. Tim Duncan won it in 99. Diesel won it in 2000, 2001, 2002. 2003, Duncan won it. 2004 would be Chauncey Billups won it in 2004. 2005, Duncan won it again. In 2006, Wade won it in 2007. Tony Parker won it in 2008. Paul Pierce won it in 2009. Bryant won it in 2010. Bryant won it in 2011. Dirk won it. 12, James won it. 13, James won it. 14, Leonard won it. 15, Iguodala won it. 16, James won it. 17, Durant won it. 18, Durant won it. 19, Leonard won it. 20, who won the NBA championship in 2020? James won it in 2020. 21, Giannis won it. 22 was last year. Who won the NBA championship last year?
Come on, Jay.
Hold on. Give me a second. Who won the NBA championship? Oh, I'm sorry. Curry won it. Curry won it in 22. So there you go. From
so you list.
Wow.
First of all, I have notes. I had the list. 2, you nailed every single MVP, Finals MVP in order from 1969 until today. 1, that's phenomenal. 2, other than maybe Cedric Maxwell,
Chauncey Billups, and Chauncey Billups ain't in the Hall of Fame.
Chauncey Billups. So since 69, there's only 2 Finals MVPs who didn't make the Hall of Fame. And let's be honest, Chauncey Billups and Cedric Maxwell, as good as they were, I don't think had the longevity or the careers that Iggy did. I think Iggy does make the Hall of Fame, so that one's not crazy. Ibaka, fine, he's not going to the Hall of Fame. And Ben Simmons, I think the story is it's too early to tell. I don't think so, but you never know. If he gets a jump shot, he might. True. So I think he's got 50-50.
Yeah. Everybody's saying 2011 was Dirk.
That's who it was. That's what I said, right? Didn't I say Dirk?
Android. What are you talking?
I thought you did. I don't know, but they're saying that
James won it in 12.
Yeah, I think you said that. Anyways,
I have the list I have the list in front of me. You hit every single one. I'm not sure why someone's saying I have an Android.
You corrected you. Yeah, I don't know.
That's an Apple. And that was crazy. And 2, in the world, Android is 72% of all cell phones in existence. But anyways, moving on.
Do you have a photographic memory? Do you know if you do?
I do. When I was
okay. I was gonna say.
Is it photographic or there's another one that's
not the photographic is like a visual, but is there one where it's just like you remember everything?
No, photographic is anything you it's idenic or something where anything you hear or see.
So when we prime example, Tone, like when we were coming up and we played basketball, I didn't need the playbook. Just show it to me. If you show it to me and run it one more time. Okay, I got it. Yeah. I was that kind of guy that I didn't have to go through the playbook, and it didn't take me long to learn not just my position. I got to know where I'm at, but I'm learning this position and this position too. There are some people who, carpenters, carpet makes sense. With doctors, medicine makes. With me, basketball just makes sense. It just does.
That's crazy.
I have what Mrs. Fluent would call a selective memory. I'll remember every play in the playbook, every single position, every single player, but I won't remember to pull out the chicken to thaw. Like
they're saying you're the scholar, Fluent. You're the scholar.
I'm a bit of a scholar, not gonna lie. All right, so we got one more. And this is FYI, you made a funny face. This was my daughter when she appeared on my show, Crunching the Numbers. She made her NFL picks.
Now you're more fluent.
Then she said that after making her 5 picks. FYI, for those that are curious, she did pick in tonight's game the Bills to beat and cover the Patriots, and they are currently up 17-7.
I'm going on record, Tone.
So
Buffalo's up 17-7.
Yeah.
Okay, because I was going on record. Just so you know, they 0-2 in the division. If the Patriots beat them tonight, I ain't got Buffalo making the playoffs. I think they're out.
Nah, they're winning tonight. They're winning tonight.
Yeah.
But they're going to win tonight.
They're going to win tonight.
They have to. They have to.
They win
Another
tonight.
one from JJ Records, aka Christopher D. We appreciate you. Would the physicality in the 80s hamper Curry to reach his MVP form? Teams purposely would clothesline him out of the air and touch up those bad ankles. That is a good question, but again, I always say this: great players. When we're talking about the elite athletes, I don't care if it was 1950 or 2050, would adapt to the game.
That's right.
So I think Curry would know that going in. He would have a different mindset. It would be different. So
there's a reason, Tone. There's a reason why in today's game, Tone, where you see guys get hands put on them, the first thing that they're doing is they're looking at the officials. That's the first thing they do is look at the officials. And the reason why is because that's how the game is being played. If they came into the game with it not being played like that, then they would have to play through contact. Yeah. So if Steph Curry, when he showed up in, I don't know, let's say 1985. So if he knew that the game was being played like that because probably he was raised that way. He was raised in that kind of atmosphere where he had to play through contact. That's not like that today. So I think it's a little bit different.
You put him in a time machine and drop him in, he wouldn't handle it. He'd get smoked. But if you have him raised in those days,
right,
it would be, look, it would just be like, let's, I don't want to bring up, but I'll do it. Look at Jordan. Jordan was getting killed by the Pistons. And after he got smoked for the third time, he got his trainer, and like the day of that last game or the day after, went into the gym and said, I'm done them hitting me. I'm gonna start hitting them.
Yeah.
And he adapted and changed.
Yeah.
And I think, Curry would have gotten smoked the first couple of years and been like, either would have dropped out of the league, which I doubt,
right,
or he would have adapted. So I tell everybody, great athletes will adapt.
Yeah.
And again, I'm not saying every athlete, like I'm not talking the middle of the road guys and below. No, those guys wouldn't have made it in any, they would be, again, I think those guys would be what they would be.
Right.
Middle of the road guys would be middle of the road guys then, now, tomorrow.
Mm-hmm.
There's a special level that elite athletes go to that it's in their makeup. It's who they are, right? There's that competitive fire, that edge, that mentality. And if you have it, you'll find a way. So yes, Steph would have been little and he would have got clotheslined and he would have been like, screw that. I'm faster. I'm going to find a way. So yeah. I think
there was a guy.
He would have figured it out.
It would have bothered him. It would have bothered him and he would have adapted.
I mean, there was a guy who played like Steph Curry before Steph Curry. His name is Mahmoud Abdul-Rauf. That's who he was back in those days. And I think that Steph would have basically done the same thing, and he would have adapted to the game, and he would have been awesome. No doubt about it.
I like the idea of the Curry McFlurry.
Yeah, that's a great idea.
McDonald's, if you're listening, the Curry, just so you know, McFlurry. You are not allowed to send ideas to McDonald's.
Ugh.
Nah,
they can't even fix their ice cream machines.
They send you a chain. They send you a chain letter or a auto response if you send them an idea that says something to the extent of, and yes, I've done it. That's how I know. That says, sorry, we don't accept ideas from people outside of the organization, because then they don't want you to, in reality, they want you to sue them and be like, I want 1 cent for every McFluent that is sold. Like they just don't, they don't want to do it. That's a double Big Mac with bacon. But anyways, all right, we got let's give Richie TV $4.99. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Thanks,
and then we got Zero just vibing. Is Chill the greatest what if in the NBA? I say yes.
Yes.
Baby
me?
Jordan.
No, here we go. No. No, man.
Baby Jordan.
No.
Hey, we know.
I really wasn't that good, guys. I promise you that. I could play, but I wasn't all that. I promise you. No.
I'll tell you this. I would have been, speaking of eras, I would have been better in this era. A guy who loves to shoot threes and play no defense.
Yeah.
I'm made, baby. I'm made. You would be good though too. A 6'3", you could post up the 6'8", 6'9" centers. You'd be fine. You'd be fine. What else we got, Hailey?
All right, we got a draft because it's been a while.
We got a draft. All right.
We do have a draft. Everybody has been asking for a draft, so I said we're gonna do an NBA bench draft. So you can only draft bench players at every position.
Oh, you didn't send me any visuals, did you? Or did you?
I didn't send you. Do we have an? It's fine. I can keep track of them.
We can. If you send it to me, I could probably pull it up.
I don't really have one.
You don't have anything? All right, let me see.
I can pick up
as we go through it. This is when we live and direct. I'm gonna try and put something together super quick.
Okay.
And as we go through, so you explain what it is. I'll try and patchwork something together super fast. Are we all doing it, or just all three of us are making picks?
Oh, we can do all three, or we can just do you guys if you want me to keep track too. Okay, so what we're gonna do is there's no age range whatsoever. If they've started a couple times, that's fine. It doesn't have to be purely, but like their role on the team this season, and it's just like current players. Is a bench player. So yeah.
So we're going strictly off reserves. That's what we're going off of.
Strictly off reserves.
Strictly off reserves. Got you. Okay.
Yeah. I mean, if they've started a few games, that's probably fine. I don't see a problem with that. No crazy rules. And then we'll let the chat at the end just to vote. So.
No doubt.
No doubt.
Okay, but I need to know if you're in it or not. Because if I'm going to try to create a visual, should I do three columns or 2?
I can do it if you want.
All right, sure.
I got you.
Mm-hmm.
We're just picking a starting 5.
Just a starting 5.
Yep.
5. Okay. All right.
Yep. All right. We ready?
Yep.
So, well, let's go. Chat. Let the chat give us an order.
All right, chat.
Keenan, what's this? I bet you Chill won't show up on the panel Tuesday. Why wouldn't you show up on the panel on Tuesday?
Why wouldn't I show up on the panel on Tuesday? Unless something's going on with me. Yeah.
They're talking about how you said Kobe 11-0'd him in the second game, still going 11-9 with Kobe is nuts. I don't know. Oh, they're talking about your game with Kobe. I don't understand. People take stuff out of context.
Chill. Okay, we got Chill, Fluent, Host. I think that was the first one.
Okay.
Your host.
All right, we'll go with it.
Hailey. Halftime.
I'm Hailey.
Okay.
You've
been gone so long. I told you.
Sorry, guys. My bad. I know. Dang.
Allow me to reintroduce myself. My name is H Boogie.
H Boogie.
So I get the first pick, and my first pick is Russell Westbrook.
Oh, okay. Nice.
With my first selection, I'm gonna take Jordan Poole.
I'm gonna take my point guard. I'm gonna take Alex Caruso. Shooting guard, point guard, whatever you give me. I think he's a point guard though.
You like
he
him?
Plays point.
Dope. I'm gonna take at the 2 guard spot. I'm gonna take Tyler Hero.
You're high on Tyler. I'm not super high on him. I'm not really
Tyler Hero.
Really?
Tyler Hero. But I think I gotta take Tyler. I gotta take Tyler Hero off. And the reason why I gotta take Tyler Hero off because he's starting this year. He's not a reserve. No, he's starting. Right. That's why Miami isn't as good as they should be. So that 2 guard, that backup 2 guard, I'm taking Pat Connaughton.
Nice.
I will take. Hold on, let me. I'm trying to do 2 things at once because I'm trying to.
Sorry, it's okay.
So you're taking who are you taking? Pat.
I'm taking Pat Connaughton as my 2. I think he spelled his name CONNAUGHTON. Yeah.
Connaughton. All right.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna take the Indiana Pacers guy, Benedict
Mathurin. Okay.
Nice pick.
I like him.
Okay, is Bobby Portis a bench player this season?
Yes, he is.
All right, give me Bobby at the center at the 5.
You're gonna take Bobby Portis.
Yes, sir.
Let's see here. Who am I digging? I'm gonna take DeAndre Hunter as my small forward.
Nice.
Okay. No, let me take a big. I'm gonna take. I think he's still coming off the bench. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm gonna take Christian Wood, or is he starting this year?
I think he's starting. Well,
no,
I don't think he started as a starter. So yeah, that's fine.
Yeah, he's definitely a rotation guy, Tony. Yeah, that's legit.
I'm taking Christian Wood then.
Mm-hmm.
I wasn't sure if he was starting yet this year.
Oh, Elder Rufus said Hunter starts. No.
So Hunter start for the Knicks now?
Yeah, but did he start the season starting, or does he have to start?
Is he starting because of injury?
That's what I'm wondering.
Okay, so let's take him off. So let's see. I'm thinking about another bench guy. Who am I thinking about? Another bench guy. Grant Williams. I'll take Grant Williams as my small forward.
Nice. That's a good pick.
We are.
Mm-hmm.
That's a good pick.
Oh, it's me?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. All right. Let me see if this is gonna work. Let's see.
It's fine if we don't have it up too, because then I can
Yeah. So when you think about the reserves in the league, those guys are just so important to what's going on. Oh, yeah. That's really good stuff right there. No doubt.
Oh, no doubt.
Did that work?
Agreed.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's good.
All right, awesome. So sorry, who'd you change Hunter for?
I took him off, and I took Grant Williams.
Oh, Grant Williams. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So and I had Christian Wood, so it's the Hailey.
Mm-hmm.
I will take Kyle Anderson as my power forward.
Yeah.
Is he or is he just small forward? Anyways, I'm gonna take him. I'm a big believer in some shooting, so yeah, give me him.
We're not doing snake draft in case anybody was wondering, so it is back to Chill.
My 4-man as a reserve. Who am I loving at the 4 spot? I'll tell you who I'm loving at the 4 spot. I'm digging that kid out in Sacramento, Holmes. I'm digging Richie Holmes. I dig. He's the consummate dirty work guy. I'm loving him.
Okay, let me know if I think I've. All right, Holmes.
Holms.
All right.
Yes.
Holmes.
Yes. Yeah.
Sexton is starting, right?
That's because Conley got hurt. He was coming off the bench, Tom.
So he is a bench player.
He is a reserve. Yeah, he's a reserve.
All right, my backcourt is Poole and Sexton. I'm liking that.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, I like my team so far.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I could even go a little bit bigger. I think you guys can see this. All right.
Is it my pick?
Yep.
Okay, at my small forward, give me Norman Powell.
Yes.
Powell. Okay.
I think he's one of the most underrated. I mean, obviously,
I know. I
had some injuries.
Powell.
Yeah, in Portland, he balled out. I was sad he left, but hey.
I like Powell a lot.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it on me?
It's on you.
Yeah.
And I'm going with the best backup 5-man in the game, and that's JaVale McGee.
Okay.
JaVale McGee.
Yes, sir.
All right, I need a center. I need a center, and you know what? I always, you know me, I always do one homer pick per draft. So I'm gonna go with the man who could probably lead the league in blocks, Chris Boucher. Went from homeless to an integral part of that Raptors defense, and he's balling out. I don't know if you guys watch enough Raptors games.
I do watch Raptors. Every time I see him, he just looks like a guy who, if a good enough gust of wind,
knock him over, but
blow him right over, Tom.
But this right over a block is what it does.
I'm telling you, this
right
guy,
over a block.
This guy, man, he doesn't look like he's bigger than a minute, but you'll look at the stat sheet and 18 and 9.
And he shoots threes. He gets blocks. Right. I love Chris Boucher.
17 and 7. You're like, damn, how's he doing it?
You know, let me tell you something. He was homeless on the streets of Montreal. So he's also Canadian. So I love him for that. And Mrs. Fluent said in his rookie season, she goes, "Watch out for Boucher. He's gonna surprise people. He's gonna be good."
Hey, when Mrs. Fluent talks, I
gotta start listening.
Hey, she the one who told us last year. She was like, "Yo, watch out for my Bengals.
Watch out for my Bengals.
Super Bowl.
Really?
Super Bowl.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Is she from Cincinnati?
Like, what the hell?
Nah.
What?
Just
really?
Smart.
This was last year.
She just knows women's intuition.
She introduced this line.
Now you're more fluent.
There you go.
I'm not gonna lie. She picked the name Sports Fluent too. I'll tell everybody.
Really?
Yeah. I was trying to come up with a name, and she's like, "Well, you're fluent in sports. Be Sports Fluent." I'm like, "Yeah."
There it is. That's it right there.
Listen, we have to get her on as a guest.
Okay. I've tried. She won't do it because I told her. I said the way her and I fight. Picture like
we don't want to see that.
Picture two knowledgeable tickets going at it.
We're not doing that.
Yelling and screaming. That is pure must see TV.
We're not doing that.
Separate show.
She won't do it. She won't do it.
No.
All right, it's your last pick. It's your last pick.
Right. I guess I need one more guard. So is Malcolm Brogdon? He has not started, right?
No, he has not.
I believe he has. So yeah, I'm gonna finish out my lineup with that.
All right, Brogdon. So there you go. So chat. Let's go through the lineup. So Chill's got Westbrook, Connaughton, Williams, Holmes, and McGee. You got a big lineup.
Those don't sound like starters, would it? Oh man, that's a good lineup.
Well, don't forget these are all bench players. This is the all bench. This is the all bench draft. I got Jordan Poole, Mathurin, Christian Wood, Colin Sexton, and Chris Boucher. So, man, we can shoot too, baby. Woo, and score and defend. Versus Hailey, Caruso. What?
I got defense.
I'm gonna hype up my team. Yeah. Caruso, Portis, Anderson, Norman, Mean Mug, Powell, and Brogdon. So who you guys got in the chat? Let us know. So far, we've already got one vote for my team. While we wait for the votes to roll in, just put in Chill, Fluent, or Hailey. Let's just do one. This is all bench players. And we'll do 2 super chats while you guys put in your votes. So
H took my Bobby Portis one. I was feeling that one.
And Fluent took my Jordan Poole.
No, I did that on purpose. That's why I took Poole first. I knew you wanted him.
I got last in the pick, so I mean, it is what it is.
Blame the chat. You got to come more often. They'd put you up first. Isn't it crazy that Jerry West is the only championship MVP in any sport to win MVP on a losing team?
Yes.
That absolutely is crazy.
Nuts.
It was also the first year of the finals MVP. I don't think they really had it in their minds that it was going to be, because I think they decided it only goes to the best player in their minds on the winning team.
And don't forget neither, Tone. And don't leave out, Tone, the fact that he won it after Game 6. Game 7 hadn't been played, and he already won it after Game 6.
Which is probably, that's probably part of the reason they
he did average, and let's not
what he averaged that series.
He did average almost 40 a game. He averaged 38 a game.
38, yeah.
He averaged 38 a game. So
yes, it's crazy, but not surprising.
Yeah.
And then Richie Rich TV, Chill. Kobe is better than Magic and Duncan.
Ooh.
I don't think so. And the reason why I don't think so is, again, when I think about Magic, when I think about the guys that I have in my top 10 all time, right? When I think about the guys I have in my top 10 in all time, I think about guys who are complete on both sides of the basketball. But there's also an exception. So there's an exception to everything. So, for example, when you think about Steph Curry is an average defender. But because how awesome he is offensively, he kind of makes up for what he doesn't do defensively. That's what makes him so awesome. So, and add that to the fact that he was on a great defensive team. So Magic, as great as Magic was, as average as he was as a defender, or as good as he was as a team defender, offensively, he was just so much better than everybody else that he just made up for that.
Listen, I got Magic, then Kobe, then Duncan in my top 10. So I've got Magic over Kobe for a lot of reasons. But I'm not saying it's not close. But it just depends it depends. It depends what you look like. My team, people are forgetting my team. Mathurin and Chris Boucher are great defenders. You guys are crazy. But Fluent, I mean, okay, we do have to show this one because this one makes a lot of sense. Wrong one. My apologies. That's the one we just showed. It's very important. Oh, here we go. Let me read this for you guys. Fluent, you should take Pelinka's job. I mean, immediately. Yes, you're absolutely correct. I will be on the plane to LA this evening.
Did you make a poll, Fluent? They're asking for
Genie Bus hit me up. I don't know how to make a poll. I don't know.
Rob Pelinka just let Caruso walk out the front.
You guys can put L host.
He let everybody in the last years walk out the front door.
He let Monk just walk out the. He let Malik Monk just walk out the front door.
L host in the chat. I will ask JD. I don't know. Here, I'm going to ask him right now how to do a poll. It's probably too late.
What is the deal? Just let Caruso just walk out the front door.
I really believe that they need to just start from the bottom to the top, get everybody out of there, and just start over. Like. Really, they have to do something.
I think it was more. I think Jeannie Buss is part of the problem.
She needs to go. Respect.
Was it because she didn't want to pay him? Because I heard there were reports that with Caruso they didn't want to pay him, and I'm thinking to myself, yo, we got to find some money for him. We have to.
Yeah,
we got to find some money for Monk. We got to find some money for Monk. We got to find some money for Caruso. You can't let dudes like that just walk out the front door. You can't.
But again, guys, like, let's be honest. It wasn't Bus and it wasn't Pelinka. It was LeBron. LeBron wanted to bring in Anthony Davis and then veterans around him. That's what he likes. That's what he's comfortable with. And the problem is, anytime you let a player dictate any part of the roster, it doesn't work. It doesn't work. And I'll use because there, we always have this battle of Jordan and LeBron. I will use Jordan as the example. Jordan fought with the Bulls management about trading away Charles Oakley, his best friend, his enforcer, his protector. And they said, listen, we don't care. We need a center. And even though Bill Cartwright is old, he's the type of player that we need, knowledgeable guy to play that center position for the triangle offense. We need to make this change. And Jordan fought it. And guess what? It's exactly what they needed. And then he didn't want, I bet you he didn't even want Pippen when they made that trade on draft day. But there was another one. Like, they didn't want Pippen and Jordan, didn't want Kukoc. Kukoc was a very valuable asset in that second three-peat run. Like, you don't want to let players make those decisions.
Traded away Jason Caffey, and Jordan was not happy about that. Like, yo, what you trading him away for? So, I mean, I do understand that part. And, I mean, we are in the player empowerment movement today, and I can dig that part. But at some point, as a general manager, at some point, as upper management, you got to put your foot down. We're doing this. I watched Ty Lue tell LeBron. I watched Ty Lue tell LeBron James in the huddle in the NBA Finals, "Yo, let me do my job. Let me do my job." So the same thing going on.
Yeah, there's no backbone.
The same thing going on with I'm having a difficult time with the logic that James is just running things over there. Where Jeannie Buss, she's been there for 40 years. There's no way that she's letting this dude just dictate everything that's going on. I'm having a difficult time with that.
Yeah. Speaking of your guys' top 10 all time, did you guys see Shaq's? He's now bumped out Shaq in order to play Steph Curry at 10.
Shaq bumped out Shaq?
Shannon bumped out
Shaq. Shannon
Sharp. Yeah, right. Shannon Sharp bumped out Shaq. And this is his argument. His argument is that obviously Shaq didn't perform at the highest level after that, period that he played.
Because he got fat and lazy?
You basically, yeah.
Okay.
In a more
I can see that
way. How do you feel about that? Even though you can argue he's one of the best. He is. So how do you feel about that? Do you think that's a valid argument?
No, I don't. Because that whole fat and lazy logic, Shaq, and when they won the NBA championship in 2006, that was year 14 for Shaq. He was still first team All-NBA that year, even though it was obvious that Dwayne Wade was the guy, right? It was obvious that Dwayne Wade was the guy. But with that all being said, we talking about Shaq's body of work from when he first showed up. Shaq got a 10-year stretch just in the playoffs alone, where he went 27-14. Not only was he 27-14, 3 straight years he was the best player in the championship series. As good as the other guy that he was running with was, and that other guy was fantastic. But it was obvious Shaq was the best player in the world. Shaq was the best player in that championship series 3 straight years. Now, I do have some gripes with Shaq, and it's not news. The fact that he never led the league in rebounding one time, the fact that he never led the league in blocks one time, I got a huge problem with that as a big. But when I think about what he did when he was only 1 vote away from being the first unanimous league MVP in 2000, not only was he only 1 vote away, he finished second that year in Defensive Player of the Year, which is nuts to me. He ended up making the All-League defensive team 3 more times after that. So Shaq was elite on both sides of the ball. Yeah, he did when he started slowing down after the 2005-2006 season, but he still was awesome for at least a decade. And the kicker for me is the fact that he was the best player in the championship series for 3 straight years. That's a big deal, man. It's hard to fight that.
So it's interesting. Remember, I don't know if you guys remember, you asked me to, like, if Steph were to be in my top 10, and I put together a top 10 list, and I tried to come up with who would come out of it, and you guys went nuts because I took Shaq out of it. And the reason I took Shaq out of it is there's so many centers in my top 10, in most people's top 10, and it's because for 60 out of the 75 years, the NBA has been center dominant. Like they just gave them more opportunities.
Yep.
And when I start to break down kind of what they did and the totalities of their career, I'm like, Shaq was never as athletic, as even as dominant as Shaq was. He was never as dominant as Wilt. So I had to keep Wilt in. He was never as skilled on the offensive and defensive side as Olajuwon. So I was like, okay, I got to keep Olajuwon in there because I struggle with Shaq and Olajuwon, dominant versus skill, right?
Yeah.
And then like the leaders, the being the leaders of the team and all this, I struggled so much. I was like, man, like Shaq at his absolute best for sure. But that's the downside of Shaq too, is that when you stick around too long, it diminishes your career.
Yeah, it does.
And I know it's not fair. It's not fair, but just think about this. If Shaq retires after the 05-06, if he just went Orlando, LA, Miami, and then retires, he's actually rated higher. But because he did, what did he do? Boston, Cleveland, Phoenix, it actually takes away from his dominance because we saw the larger, slower, less dominant version of him. Yeah. And people remember that. And you can't get it out of your head. You try to, and then it becomes, well, at his best. Well, that's not fair at his best. And, look at Olajuwon. Olajuwon was great. 1 year he stunk. He was a Raptor. And he was like, I stink. And he was out.
Yeah.
Right. Like he didn't stick around. He's like, I'm out. Right.
Yeah, so self-awareness.
Yeah. Exactly. Sorry. Hey,
Vince, I obviously don't have it anymore.
Look in the mirror. Whoa.
He's like,
Vince, watching back tape. He's like, well, that's not me.
Thank you, Vince Carter, for getting me here.
I'm gone.
Yeah. And that was the thing with Shaq. He didn't know when to leave. And that's why I think if you have to put Curry in, and that's why I say wait till the end, because I think at the end Curry's gonna be in. If he's not already in your top 10, he's probably going to be if he's not already. He's gonna knock out someone. And who is it? If you think about the consensus, kind of top 10, forget the order. I'm just gonna say names. But if you think of most people's 10, it includes Jordan, LeBron, Magic, Bird, Russell, Wilt, Olajuwon, Shaq. Who'd I miss?
James. Oh, you said James.
I said James.
Probably Larry.
I said Larry.
Bird.
Probably Kobe and Shaq. That's probably, for the most part, most people's 10 in whatever order, right?
Yeah.
Well, if Kobe goes in, who does he come in over? Does he? Right. Most people's top 5 is something Jordan, LeBron, Magic. Let's say Bird and Russell. Let's say those 5 or Wilt.
My top 5 is James, Jordan, Jabbar, Russell.
Okay. Is he taking out any of those 5 guys?
No.
He's not taking out. So then the next 5 is, I forgot Duncan. Oh my God, I forgot Duncan.
Yeah,
Magic.
So the next 5 are Magic,
Bird, Duncan, Olajuwon, Diesel.
And who's he taking out?
None of those guys.
Is he taking out Magic, Bird, Olajuwon, Duncan, or Shaq? Like that,
or Bryant?
Or Bryant. Like
I think Olajuwon can. I'm not saying this, but I'm saying I think some people might bump him out.
I think Giannis, if Giannis can continue, because I'm glad you brought that up, because I was thinking when you talk about checking the boxes. So let's say Giannis wins the league MVP this year, right? And let's say in the process of him winning the league MVP, they win the NBA championship and he wins the finals MVP. I think the winning aspect, that box is checked. Now, all that has to happen from this point on, because it can't that's not enough. So from this point on, what he has to do is just play. For me, he wouldn't have to win anymore. All he has to do is just play at an all NBA level where he's first team all NBA for the next 5 years. Somebody in that top 10 got to come out. They have to.
Really?
Yes.
Can I ask you guys a question? And obviously, maybe it's just me, but I've kind of seen this floating around as like, why isn't Giannis, like, obviously he is from overseas, like he wasn't born here. But do you think, because I think Giannis could have been like a face of the league. When we talk about faces of the league, it doesn't really matter, but Giannis isn't that guy. And I don't really think he's going to become that guy. What is it about Giannis that is kind of disconnected, or do you even feel that disconnect?
Well, I still stand on the logic. If Giannis was from Chicago, it'd be we'd be talking about him way different than what we're talking about. Completely different.
I think there's 3 things with Giannis for me. First, let me go back a second just to say that top 10 list that I said where I squeezed Curry in, right? It was Magic, LeBron, Kareem, Magic, Kobe, Bird, Duncan, Chamberlain, Shaq or Olajuwon, Steph at 10, One of those two. So Shaq, who do I pick? Shaq or Olajuwon out of the top 10, and then Russell at 12. So that's anyways, because someone was asking. I don't have Russell in my top 10, never have. All right, that being said, here's the three things with Giannis. He is an African via Greece that came to America.
Correct.
Right.
So right off the bat, that's not embraced as much as Olajuwon, because what did Olajuwon do? He became an American citizen. In fact, he played for Team USA.
96. He was on that Olympic team.
People seem to forget that. So he was embraced. So he is an African via Greece who came to America, who is not saying, I want to be American. So the media just they don't like that. So again, came from over there, doesn't want to be an American. And the third thing is, let's be honest. I know the world is a small little place, but he also plays in Milwaukee. That is not a big market, big media city. It's just not. So you've got I think you got those three kind of main factors. And they just, I don't know. And I think that's the only reason, because to your point, if he was born in Chicago, played for New York, he would be the talk of the town. Or if, again, it's changing. The landscape is changing, because it's not like Milwaukee gets no press, because it's not like the olden days where you had to read in the newspaper tomorrow. Like, you're still seeing the games, but it's still players in LA, New York, still get more hype than players in Oklahoma City, Milwaukee, I don't know where it was, New Orleans. Those guys just don't get as much. Again, I'm not saying this because I'm in Toronto, but just the Raptors get no media coverage in the U.S. No matter how good they are. Like, just think about a team that is in the 4 or 5 seed. By the way, in the fourth largest city in North America, if you're saying North America, because I got to include Mexico City. Toronto's bigger than Chicago, and they get no publicity whatsoever. So it's not a town that's a 1/7 of the size of Toronto in Milwaukee. Of course they're not. Why would you give them any media coverage? It's just it's tough to happen. And people are gonna say, "What are you talking about?" It's true. Just look. Giannis should be talked about way more than he is, and he's not.
I think they're gonna lose Giannis.
I
think they're gonna lose him. I do.
Why?
Well, you figure, once again, exactly what Tone just talked about when he talked about Milwaukee being a small market town. Yo, when you got a championship caliber team, this isn't the NFL where you can win on the cheap. You got to, and in the NBA, things get expensive, and they get expensive fast. And teams look a lot different from year to year, especially when you're trying to win it. And like, for example, Middleton, I think he's 31. Drew Holiday is 32. I think that they're going to lose Giannis in the next 2 years, simply because number one, they're not going to be able to afford, unless they completely retool that roster. And if they retool that roster and get younger, like they were able to do, unless they do that, they're going to end up losing Giannis.
All right. Well, Giannis, there's a huge Greek population in Toronto. There's also a huge African population, and Masai Ujiri does a lot of.
They'll love him up there.
They would love you.
They'll love him up there.
They'll love you. They will sing the Greek anthem every time you walk into the stadium. They will love you. But that being said, we got 3 super chats, and then I think we got to go. So let's get it off with 3 super chats. Here we go. The first one is from Chamois Sauce. How much better would Lakers be with Zubček? I believe he is
with Zubac.
Zubac. Yeah, there he goes. I don't say I can't say last names. I believe he is on the block. How much better would they be? 6-2, by the way, after that horrible start. 6-2.
Not a bad. Yeah.
I think that they would be good, considering AD would be able to move back to the 4, which is his natural position, which is where he wants to play. But he's been awesome where he is. And considering what the Lakers will have to give up, I mean, I don't know how much better he makes them. I think they're bigger, but I don't know how much better he makes them. I still think the Lakers are a playoff team the way that they are.
But the way it could shift things could be really beneficial. Yeah, I agree.
M1 Dimitri with pounds. What up, though? Is MJ the worst NBA team owner, achievement-wise?
No way. Absolutely not. That's Donald Sterling, and it ain't even close.
But he's not an owner.
Well, he was.
Achievement-wise. No, I think he means right now. How about right now?
But today, in today's game,
owners of
no. Hold on. Let's make sure we clear. Tone, who's the guy who's the guy who you made it clear that I'll give all the money back? Give me 5 years. Give me 5 years. If I don't get the Knicks
to the Eastern Conference Championship in 5 years, I will give you my all 5 year salary back.
He said he'll give it all back. Dame Dolan is the worst owner in professional basketball. He's terrible.
You saw how I draft. I'm excellent.
Terrible.
All right. So yes, James Dolan right now is the worst, but MJ is a close second. He is pretty bad. Let's be honest. He did do.
I wonder how involved he really is. That's something.
Very.
Oh, absolutely.
Like do you think too involved?
Too involved.
It's not that he's too involved, Tone. It's just he doesn't listen to the people who work for him.
Yeah,
he's a yes. Okay. He got a lot of yes people working for him. He doesn't.
He is. I would be intimidated. I feel like to work for him.
You know what? You know the problem with Jordan is. I know you guys love when I do hockey references. He is much like Wayne Gretzky, who everybody knows is the greatest hockey player of all time. Tried to coach the Phoenix Coyotes. He lived in Phoenix, and they had a new team, and so he joined. And here's the thing: he was coaching them, and he'd be like, "Hey, do this." And the player's like, I can't. And he's no, just do this. And the player's like, I can't do it. And he's like, what do you mean? I just did it naturally. Yeah, because you're the greatest hockey player of all time. You did it naturally. That's the difference. Not everybody could do that. And I think Jordan sees players and he's like, just do this. Work as hard as I do. Kill yourself as hard as I did. Be as competitive as I was. Right. And that's a sickness. There's very few people, if any, who are as competitive as him. You know, I always bring up, I try to bring up the story as much as I can because people don't realize. When they say he got cut from the varsity team, do you know why he got cut from his varsity team?
He wasn't good enough.
It's not that he wasn't good enough. It's that they had his brother, who at the time was better, Larry, and they're like, we just don't want to have the brothers on, and they cut him because it's not that he didn't play. He still went and played, I think, JV, and he was scoring 40 points some nights. Like he was dominating JV. It's not like he got cut and then went home and cried about it. He just played JV and dominated those guys. Like he was the best one there. So let's, again, I always want to bring that up because people forget it or don't know it. All right, here we go. Last one from Web Slingo. I like that by this. I love Spider-Man. Tim Duncan, I'm assuming, beat Prime Shaq and near Prime Kobe, Prime Dirk, Prime KG with less help than any of them, except KG at the time. He was the defensive heart and soul of the Spurs his whole career. He's top 5. I don't give up.
I got him at 8.
You can make that case.
Yeah, I got him at 8. But yeah, I definitely think he's a top 10 player all time. No doubt about that.
Yeah.
You can definitely.
Yeah, there's listen. Definitely a top 10 I always said this. I think 1, 2, 3 are interchangeable, which is James, Jabbar, and Jordan.
Right.
I think 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 are probably interchangeable, if not right through to 12.
You can make an argument between all of them. You can make an argument with all of them dudes, which is why, Tone, when we have this conversation, when we talk about Bryant, I got no problem talking to people. Me and you used to go back and forth with this, but when I talk to people, I got no problem having a conversation, but people got him between 8 and 12. I got no problem with somebody talking about him being around that. Like when you talk to me about Kobe Bryant being the second best player of all time, I'm good. You can't sell me that. You just can't.
Here's the thing. I don't believe that to be true, and I love
you can't.
My favorite player all time forever and always will be Kobe Bryant. That being said, I can understand someone making the case. I don't agree with it. I can understand the case if you got Jordan 1 and you're saying Jordan is by far the number 1 player ever, right? And Kobe's the next best thing to him, so I'm going to have him too. I can understand your logic because there's the things that you then see as important, right? Scoring, defense, versatility. Right. Like that's just who. Like I remember, I forget who it was. I wish I could remember who it was, but they said, "Hey, can you create who would the perfect basketball player be?" I think it was actually Magic back in the 90s, and he goes, "Oh, he would be a shooting guard, 6'6", born in New York." Played at North Carolina, wear number 23. So if that's your perfect player, then you can make that case. Again, I don't have to agree with it, but you can make that case. And that's why I say I don't get mad. I know I got Kobe 5 because I can also make a case for him to be 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. I can make that case. My favorite player. He's never going to drop.
Like I said, I got him right outside the top 10. I ain't going further than that. You can't get me to move him past 11. Like I got people, I've heard people say stuff to me like, yo, he's top 15 or he's 15. I'm like, I'm not having a conversation with you. If you think that this dude is 12 or 13 a foot, nah, I'm not doing that. No, you're not getting me to do that.
And let's be clear, I know where my biases are.
Right.
Like if you think about it, of my top five, number 2 is a Laker.
Right.
Number 3 is a Laker. Number 4 is a Laker.
There you
Number
go.
5 is a Laker.
There you go.
Number 6 is a Celtic, which, dude, that was hard for me. And I've been very clear to people. I've said to many people, I wish I had the picture. I don't have the picture anymore. But I was to say the only thing that would have made the NBA for me perfect, I'm going to try and find it for you real quickly. And I think I can. The only thing that would have made the NBA perfect, like for my lifetime, would have been if this was a reality. And someone else, feel free to talk. Well, here we go. If this was ever a reality, the NBA would have been perfect.
That would just be Laker.
That would have been just a dream.
Because when we talked, Rufus and I had a debate on Black Friday when I talked about the best players in the NBA history are big guys, and my top 2 players are wings. But Jabbar could be the best player ever. You can, and I don't mean you can make an argument. Jabbar is legit to be the best player ever. No questions asked. He could be the best player ever. Now, when you talk about a preference, because I played on the wing, but I'm a huge fan of the big guy. So Jabbar could definitely be the best player ever. So those 3 guys, like I said, if you got James, Jordan, Jabbar, if you got Jordan, James, Jabbar, if you got Jabbar, Jordan, James, I take no issue with that at all. Because Jabbar has a legit case of being the best player ever. Yes, he does.
Listen, I always tell people, if you include, and people don't, but the Hall of Fame does, if you include high school and college, it's actually Kareem, and I don't think it's a debate. I don't think it's a debate.
It's not.
Yeah, it just depends what you value and what you value over other things.
Yeah,
so.
That's a fact.
Oh, it's the beauty of discussing. But it looks like the Bills are absolutely dominating the Patriots, which is what I said. I said they'd win by at least 6 points. Well,
listen, that's the new show. That's the new show. Kids Fluent.
Now you're more fluent.
Telling us the Bills were going to dominate.
She knew her facts, but yeah, well, I think we should definitely plan a Kobe debate. Get into this more because the chat was
Kobe debate.
Not necessarily debate, a conversation. Let's get into some of these things.
All right, Rufus. I know Rufus is watching.
Yeah,
Rufus,
if you want to
come join us. We're gonna have a full 30-minute Kobe. We'll bring in the chat too. For those of you just still watching, 1, I don't know where the likes are, but more please. But 2, I will say to those that reached out to me on IG, we will do another show. Hailey, you weren't here last week. I actually just put the link right in the chat and let anybody who wanted come on. I don't know that we're gonna do more of that. I don't know necessarily putting in the chat and let everybody come on.
Yep.
But for those that reached out to me, just let me know next time you're on, and we'll try to bring on at least 1 or 2 every episode and kind of get your hot takes, your flop takes, your you can come on and get cooked if you want. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
That's what we do around here. So.
But yeah, get those likes up, you guys. Appreciate you. Make sure to go check out the rest of the videos the panel had this last week, and also the debates were hilarious. So if you haven't watched those, definitely go watch those too. But appreciate you guys, and we will see you next Thursday. Jake,
take it light, but take it.
I can't even play his music.